Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Samson, and in today's video we have another special treat from you guys right here, Don Williams from Nissan in Jacksonville, North Carolina. But before we get to the video, if you're into all things automotive, even firearm related, make sure that you consider subscribing. We do car meets, we do builds, we do the reviews, of course, and we do gun reviews. And so make sure you consider subscribing. But in today's video, we have a 50th anniversary Nissan GTR. Now, many of you may know the Nissan GTR as GODZILLA. It was given that name by the Australians simply because it dominated in all the races that it would go into. Now, Nissan has had a few generations of the GTR. Then, of course, the R32, the R33, the R34, which is going to be a lot of you guys' favorites, seeing it in the Fast and Furious movie. And it's also probably one of the most sought after GTRs as well. But then Nissan came out with the R35, and this vehicle right here in particular has been in production for a long time. Nissan hasn't really done too much to change the design of it. It's had the same sort of look for a while, but this particular model being a little bit special, it is the 50th anniversary. And so in today's video, we're going to go over some of the features on it, some of the styling, and talk about some things that I like, some things I think that you'll definitely like. But just like that, guys, let's get into the video. Now, for this 50th anniversary Nissan GTR, you're going to notice a lot of the same styling features that you get with your regular GTR. Not a whole lot has changed. As far as actual styling features and stuff have gone, you do still get this very nice LED strip in your headlight assembly, as well as these 3 projector beams. Really nice setup. Now, one thing that I don't like about the GTR is that they do have a fake vent over here on the side. I feel like they very easily could have made this vent functional for brake cooling or something of the sort, which when you talk about a car as high performance as this one, it's of course costing over $100,000, you would hope that they wouldn't put certain fake vents up there. However, overall styling on this front bumper is very nice. You do have your GTR badge here in the center, and you'll notice a recurring theme. You're not going to see a whole lot of Nissan badges affiliated with this car. They're really trying to push that GTR name. Make sure that you know that you have something special. You do get this sort of V design feature right here in the front grille, and you do get these openings right here on the top and the bottom, forcing as much air as possible into this engine bay to help cool it. Of course, give you a little bit more performance. You do get this lower splitter on the bottom. Now, many people go with a body kit or an extra aero kit in order to bring that splitter out a little bit. This car does sit low for a regular car. However, for a sports car, it does sit a little bit higher. It's a little bit more practical. So you won't have to worry about rubbing this splitter on the ground and possibly tearing it up, getting it all scraped up and everything. But overall, very nice design to the front of this Nissan GTR. Coming from the front bumper up to the hood of this 50th anniversary GTR, you can see they do have these very nice body lines that continue from that bumper up the hood and of course down the side of the car. Now, one thing that I love personally and that I feel like a lot of people really like about the GTR as far as the hood goes is these NACA ducts. Now, the reason that the NACA ducts are developed is because they do allow you to get air where you need it while also cutting down on drag. You'll see a lot of cars have these different hood vents, these scoops. You might think of the Dodge Demon with the huge air grabber hood. The issue with that is you do get a lot of drag, but with these NACA ducts, they sit flush. They don't give you any additional drag while also still giving you nice airflow. Overall design to this hood is very aggressive. Nissan doesn't hold back on the styling. They definitely give you some very aggressive styling with this hood. Coming down to this side of this GTR, you guys can see you do get fully redesigned wheels that are specific to the 50th anniversary cars. Really love the design on them. They do have this almost polished aluminum look on some of the spokes, and love the multi-spoke setup that Nissan went with for this wheel. As far as your wheel and tire setup goes, you do get a 20-inch rim on 255 width tires in the front. Absolutely massive braking setup on the front of this car. You're looking at 16-inch rotors. They are a 2-piece design with that aluminum hat to help cut down on rotational mass as well as help with heat dissipation. You do have 6-piston Brembo calipers. Love the orange finish that these come in. Really nice design. Now, coming back from the wheel setup, you can see you do get a functional side fender vent. Now, this vent is for bringing air out of that wheel well. On the bottom portion, it is split up into 2 portions. bring air out of that wheel well, help reduce lift and turbulence in this area, but also bring heat from that engine in order to help with the cooling effect, not having the engine overheat. You do get this really, really nice side skirt on the side of this Nissan GTR. You can see it starts wide in the front, sort of tapers down and narrows closer to the car towards the middle where you might put your feet if you're getting in or out of the car. And it does widen out again towards the rear of the vehicle. So Nissan does give you a little bit of functionality without overdoing it, making it too difficult to get into the car. Love how they also have these flush design door handles. In order to open the door, you would just push in on this handle, pull, and the door pops right open. Love when automakers don't over complicate their door handles to try to go for some type of stylistic feature. Nissan does just keep it really, really simple. Not a whole lot of complication with the door handle like you might get in a lot of your other supercars. Coming down the side, you do still get just regular styling for the most part. If you wouldn't know that this is a GTR, you might not think that it's anything too special, because a lot of supercar manufacturers do this very aggressive styling with a lot of their cars, but Nissan keeps it very simple on the side, and that's why this GTR, I believe, has probably been able to be so timeless, and they haven't changed the design on it because it is just very simple. People love it. Coming to the back wheel and tire setup, you do get again a 20-inch rim. They are redesigned for the 50th anniversary model, and you also get a 285 width tire on the back. Now, one thing that you might notice is that the rear braking setup is almost just as big as the front braking setup. Normally with manufacturers, you're used to seeing a massive front braking setup, smaller rear. They do still give you 15-inch rotors on the rear, same two-piece design with that aluminum hat, and you also get a 4-piston Brembo caliber. Love how the orange sort of plays off of this silver, I guess gray if you will, body color on this car. But how about we go ahead and we take a look at the rear of this Nissan and see what type of goodies you get back here. So one thing you might notice about this GTR is that they do give you aggressive styling in the front, very simplistic styling on the side, and then again with the aggressive styling in the rear. You get these absolutely massive, very nice looking LED tail lights. You do get 4 of them. Now, you guys might also sort of look at these taillights and also think about how the Corvettes also have these 4 secular taillights in the rear. Really nice setup. I love the design feature on the inside of them. And when these come on at night, they look absolutely insane. You do get a little bit of a spoiler with your GTR. Nothing too major, nothing too absurd, just enough to let you know that you have a little bit of downforce in the back. This is one of the few places that you will see a Nissan badge is on the trunk lid right here, but that is probably about the only place that you see a Nissan badge. You do get your GTR 50th anniversary badge right here in the back. Love how they kept it simplistic with the anniversary badge, nothing too major, just showing you just a little touch of what makes this car oh so special. Coming down from the bumper to the rear diffuser portion, you do get a nice rear diffuser on this car. You do get a little bit of carbon fiber, nothing too insane when it comes to the diffuser. You do have these strakes that go along the back, making it look just a little bit more complex, a little bit more stylistic. Absolutely love the design of it. You do get a little bit of flat silver on the diffuser as well to offset that black. And one of the most aggressive parts about the rear of this car is probably these massive titanium exhaust tips. And so your 50th anniversary GTR does come with a titanium exhaust. Sounds absolutely insane. And with these massive tips, with the little burnt finish around the edge of the tips, giving it that blue color, really nice look. They do have this little grill around the exhaust that I feel like adds a very nice stylistic touch to the exhaust itself. Now, coming to the side of the diffuser, you do get these functional vents on the side, bottom part of the diffuser, helping to bring air from that wheel well, help reduce that turbulence. Of course, like I said, reduce that lift. Overall, very aggressive styling to the rear of this bumper. But how about we go ahead, we take a look at what is powering this amazing feat of engineering. All right, guys, coming up under the hood of this 50th anniversary GTR, You do have overall the same dimensional structure of an engine, but everything is revised for this 50th anniversary. You do have upgraded turbos, upgraded intercoolers, and so that is making it so that this pushes out right around 565 horsepower, right around 467 pound-feet of torque. It is a 3.8 liter twin turbocharged V6. Now, as far as weight, you're looking at just under 4,000 pounds, right around 3,900. And so it's not a light girl by any means. However, it will still get up and move. MPGs right around 16 in the city, 22 on the highway. And when it comes to overall styling, the ingenuity behind this engine and just how everything is sort of structured, absolutely beautiful. It is made it to a 6-speed dual clutch automatic transmission, so you do get those lightning quick shifts. Now, earlier I spoke about how wide the wheel and tire setup was on it, and many of you may have been thinking that that's pretty skinny for a car of this stature. Having a wheel in the back as wide as the 285, when normally a lot of cars with this power range and performance range have wide wheels on the back. That is because this car does have an all-wheel drive system, and with that all-wheel drive system, it is extremely hard-hitting, which is one reason why so many people love these cars, because the acceleration on it is insane. As far as the engine bays goes, like I mentioned, it is very beautiful. You do have small things that people might not even notice, like this carbon fiber strut brace that goes across the actual top of this engine bay. Now, this particular model does have a little bit revised suspension dampening, and so you do get a little bit more of a sport car setup, track focus setup with this car. Overall, just a really nice engine bay and power plant for this Nissan GTR. But how about we go ahead, we take a look at the inside, see what type of goodies you get on the inside of this 50th anniversary. Hey guys, before I get started on this beautiful interior, I should also mention that the engine itself is hand built. It's not on an assembly line like you would expect a lot of engines to be, like they do with a lot of their other cars, like the Maxima, Pathfinder, such like things like that. The engine for this car is hand built, and that's another thing that just makes it oh so special. But getting into the interior of this GTR, just an overall very beautiful setup. You do have on the door seal your GTR badge, as well as the 50th anniversary right here on the side in this beautiful aluminum. Coming to the steering wheel, you do get a very small steering wheel, which may actually work to your benefit. It does allow a little bit taller guys to get in here and not have to worry about hitting their knees on the steering wheel. And it also allows you to make movements a little bit quicker with this smaller setup. For the steering wheel, you do get your GTR badge right here in the center. You do get your buttons on the side for your cruise control. You also get buttons on the other side of your steering wheel for being able to change things on this little gauge, digital gauge that you get in this gauge cluster. And moving from the steering wheel, how about we talk about the gauge cluster for a second? It is finished in carbon fiber, almost complete carbon fiber, aside from the digital gauge that you get on this car. You do get right around a 7,000 RPM red line, and you do get 220 miles per hour on the dash. Beautiful setup. Along with that carbon fiber, you do get 50th on the gauge cluster, which is absolutely wonderful to see. I love how Nissan does keep their gauge cluster for the most part analog. I feel like in today's age, with all the configurable gauge clusters that you get, Nissan is keeping it a little bit old school. That may be a negative for some people. However, in my personal opinion, absolutely love it. Do love the interior trim color that this car has. Really nice color on this interior. I can't say that I've seen this color on any other cars, and so it is unique in that sense. You do have leather soft touch material on the entirety of this dash. Really nice setup. Moving from the dash to this infotainment system, it is fully touchscreen, a little bit revised from Nissan's previous setup with their infotainment systems. This one is a little bit more responsive. Love how you can access all your performance pages, all your radio, climate control, such like that in this infotainment system. You have a few buttons for doing things like, of course, tuning in your radio. You also have navigation. One thing that a lot of cars don't have that Nissan does keep in this GTR is your radio does come with a CD player. Not sure how many people still use CD players. However, Nissan does give it to you in case you want it. Coming down from this infotainment system to the bottom portion, you do have your climate control vents in this center console area, your ability to control your dual climate control, your AC, of course, being able to go in and configure your drive modes as well. Now, Nissan does give you these 3 different switches for being able to do things like stiffen up the suspension, turn off your traction control, access different drive modes. But I love how all 3 of these switches have the R badge on them. Just makes it feel just a little bit more special. And you know that when you put it in that R mode, you are going for maximum performance. You do get your gear shift right here in the center. Really, really nice setup on the gear shift, as well as this bright red start-stop button. You do have carbon fiber along the entirety of this center console area, as well as a 50th anniversary badge on the actual carbon fiber as well. So if you didn't remember that you had a 50th anniversary by looking in your gauge cluster, looking in your door seal, or looking on your rear bumper, they tell you again right here in your center console area with this carbon fiber. You do have the ability to have a regular parking brake in this car, which in my personal opinion is huge. And a lot of cars, they go on with electronic parking brakes. Me personally, I like just being able to pull the old lever up, and then you know for sure that what you are doing is working. And it's a little bit more mechanical. I like having a little bit more feel over everything instead of everything being electronics and they fail, stuff like that. You do get 2 cup holders. Like I mentioned, this car is practical. So if you're having to convince your wife or your significant other about being able to get one, you do get 2 cup holders. You do get a massive trunk as well as rear seats. Coming to the center console, you do get a little bit of storage. It's not deep whatsoever. You do get your USB ports, your aux port. Really nice soft touch material on the center console. And I'm moving from the center console to the door panel. Absolutely lovely design to this door panel. Looks a little bit, in my personal opinion, kind of like how Dodge Charger door panels look. Really, really nice design to it. You do get leather throughout the entirety of the door panel, except on the bottom. They don't give you plastic. They do stick some type of suede material on the bottom, and you do get a little net for storage on the bottom of this door panel. Really, really nice setup with that net. I feel like it makes it look very, very race car-y. You do get a Bose sound system in this car, which is absolutely excellent to have because Nissan does want you to be able to listen to your tunes, have a good time. But you do get black trim on the door panel where your handle is for you to open and close the door. And overall, a very, very, very nice setup with this leather. It's very, very plush. Moving from the door panel to the seats, you do get the same real cool design on these seats. Love how they have these lines in them, adding to the stylistic feature of these seats. Now, these seats are extremely comfortable. If you did want to take your Nissan GTR out for a very long cruise, some type of trip somewhere, you could definitely do that. They are very comfortable, not overly bolstered, but just bolstered enough to be able to hold you in place. You do have your openings in the backs to be able to add a harness in the seat if you would like to. But overall, love the two-tone design with the perforated white leather, off-white if you want to call it, on the side. Really, really nice setup to these seats. As far as the headliner goes, with this being the 50th anniversary, you do get this diamond stitched headliner. It is all Alcantara, and so a lot of cars give you this cloth headliner. Nissan goes the extra mile, gives you this Alcantara headliner, making sure that you have the absolute highest quality that you can possibly want. Absolutely amazing setup to this Nissan GTR. And how about I show you what they got in the back so you guys can see what these back seats are all about. All right, and so just for you guys, I will do my best to get in the back of this car. Oh man, it is extremely tight in here. Now, many of you may know I am 6'5", and so I cannot sit up at all in the back of this car. It does have an overall fastback design to it, so the back where the ceiling is very, very low. However, maybe you could put somebody a little bit shorter in here for the time being. I'm almost certain that the person in front of me probably couldn't drive if they wanted to put the seat back, because I don't think it would come back far enough for either of us to be comfortable. You do get your speaker set up right here in the back with that Bose system, as well as one cup holder. So the rear passengers, they're going to have to share a cup holder if they want to have a drink. But you do get the same attention to detail with your actual seat quality. Love the plush leather, the design in it, the stitching, everything about it is just very, very nice. But I would not recommend putting anybody that is tall in the back seat, especially for any length of time that's going to be meaningful. And so now I'm going to do my best to show you guys how I get out of this back seat. I know many of you are probably going to have a kick out of this. However, trying to be very gentle. Oh my God. And there you have it. And just like that, guys, that is a full review of this 50th anniversary R35 Nissan GTR. Absolutely masterpiece of a car. If you want it to be a practical daily driver, it can be. If you want it to be a race car, it can be. Really, really a whole lot of history behind this car, a whole lot of engineering behind it. And it's an absolutely lovely setup. These still trade for well over $100,000. Some of them you may be able to find, not a 50th anniversary, but older model GTRs, a little bit under 100 grand. And so if you have the ability to pick one of these up, I would definitely recommend getting this car. But just like that, if you guys like the content, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite feature about this car down in the comment section. But just like that, guys, I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.